Chief Development Officer here at Eckerd Connects. I've been here. I'm the new kid on the block. Been here just 20 months, so a little shy of 2 years. But we've done a lot of neat things together over the last couple of years. And these lessons learned are one of those things. But if you take just a minute, if you don't mind, and just let me give you kind of the big picture, and then we're going to really focus then on just one of our programs. But Eckerd Connects, we're in 20 states around the country. Most people aren't aware of that. And again, we really are coast to coast, and north and south. We are all across the country doing great work, helping young people, helping families, helping people in at-risk communities break the cycle of poverty, stand on their own, providing job training. We're going to be talking about workforce. We do child welfare programs. We do juvenile justice transitional services programs. We do so many things. 166 unique programs in 20 states from coast to coast. And again, I don't know what your interest is. If you're a supporter, a donor, a friend of Eckerd, usually there's something in all that mix of programs that I find will be aligned with the passion that you have. So again, thank you for joining us today. We so appreciate it. Today, I am so excited. We're interviewing for the first time some of our programs in the state of Georgia. The Eckerd Workforce Development Program, we've got with us two great speakers, and I am so excited to introduce Carley, and she is our operations director from the state of Georgia. Now, you're not going to be able to see her on video. We've just got her on audio today, but Carley's been with us 14 years this month. I bet you didn't know it was that long, Carley, did you?
Yes, that was part of my intro. Yes, 14 years. It feels like it was just yesterday.
Well, thank you for joining us. Take just a couple minutes, introduce yourself, I'd like to hear just kind of a big picture on all the things that we do in the state of Georgia. I think it would not only help our clients, but it's going to help me. So take a couple minutes and share if you would.
Okay, certainly, gladly. Thank you, Roy. So I'm Carley Huguley. I'm the operations director for our workforce programs in the state of Georgia. I've been with the company, as Roy said, for the past 14 years. I started out in one of our rural programs in River Valley, Georgia, which is Americus, Georgia, small, as a program manager, and then worked my way up. In the state of Georgia, we definitely serve a huge multiple population for our workforce programs. We do youth, adult, dislocated workers. As part of our youth program, we have two different populations served. We serve an in-school youth, which are currently our high school, most of the time typically juniors and seniors. And then we also serve the out-of-school youth population for those that are out-of-school youth that have either dropped out, transitioned out of high school. They're in need of a lot of those life soft skills training, help with transitioning into post-secondary education, gaining a GED. We do everything and all things when it comes to making sure that they're successful transitioning into that next phase of their life. We also offer paid work experience for our youth through our actual programs. That's where we find employers that are willing to give them the opportunity to come in and learn on-the-job training skills that they can apply to their full-time job once they finish post-secondary education or transition into that career. We do career readiness training. Another component of what we do in the state of Georgia is adult and dislocated worker training. And as part of that, we also do the work-based learning, which is the work experience, but we also give them the opportunity to do on-the-job training, which is where they're actually hired by an employer, and we help that employer offset those training costs to train them for a job that they do not have the experience or they would not typically be able to gain that employment because of lack of skills. We help them to offset those training costs by paying part of that training throughout the course of the first 6, 8, 12 weeks of employment.
All right, Carla, I'm going to
So we
have you repeat. I'm going to have you repeat just that little piece because I know we probably have some employers out there that are tuning in today, and a lot of them don't realize that there's a reimbursement element as part of that component of the workforce program you're describing. So repeat that again in case there's an employer on the call with us today.
Okay, sure. I would most definitely. So we offer through our adult and dislocated worker program the opportunity for those that are eligible for services to actually go on the job. They're hired by the employer, so the employer hires them. And what we do is they hire someone who has limited to no skills for that actual position, and we offset the training costs to train them to be successful on that job. So basically, it could be for 6 weeks, 8 weeks, 12 weeks, and we reimburse up to 75% of the wages and that initial training throughout their initial training. So it's part of a training plan that we develop with that employer, and we assign hours to that actual training plan. So whether it be up to 480 hours, 260 hours, whatever the case may be, that they feel is the amount of time it takes for them to train them, we offset those costs. And so we're able to put that money back into that business and into that employer's hands for the training of a participant. So it helps our participants because they gain an edge, because a lot of times they wouldn't be able to even get that job because they lack the skills, but because of that on-the-job training component, that employer hires them, and we help offset those training costs.
Wow.
It's a great
So it's not just the big bald-headed guy calling companies asking for money. We're actually offering to write some checks to some companies if they'll help our clients that need a job.
Right. And I know last year, one of our main employers in the state of Georgia that participated in our OJT, maybe not last year, but the year before, was Tyson. So we worked with Tyson Foods, the poultry and plant here locally across multiple different counties. And I know that we put, I think it was close to $30,000 back into that company just by offsetting training costs for those that they're going to make the hire anyway. But it was based on the fact that they hired, and we offset the training for them to train them on a position that they had never done before. So I think it was close to $30,000.
Wow. How exciting is that? That is exciting. And so, again, please, if you own a company out there and you could help, again, adults or young adults in this program, it's a great way to generate some extra revenue for your company while at the same time doing a great thing for your community and putting people who need a job back to work. Carly, that is exciting. I can't tell you how excited I am about our workforce program in Georgia. Take a minute and talk about the history. And I know some of this predates you, but we acquired an organization called Paxson. I know in some places around the state, we still trade as Paxson. Take a couple minutes and just talk about the relationship, the history there, and how we work together now.
Okay, sure. Okay, so basically in Georgia, we've been around with workforce programs. I think our first one was started in 2001, and it was in our South Georgia program, and that was under the, we were Paxson at that time. So Paxson Learning Services, Paxson LLC, we were a for-profit company. We actually were it started out as more of a curriculum company. They were writing curriculum, and then they decided to start implementing workforce programs. And so they started bidding on different programs throughout the state of Georgia. But they actually were very successful in operating programs. And then in 2016, we actually, through a partnership, we were able to merge with Eckerd Connect. And so now we're an umbrella under Eckerd Connect. And so that gave us even more stability. It gave us more opportunity because some actual customers in different local workforce areas, they loved what we were doing, but they would say we were rather pricey because we were a for-profit company, and they preferred to work with a nonprofit. So as part of that, we were able to get that profit entity and status. And so we were actually able to pick up some new business because of that merger with Eckerd. We were able to offer better benefits to our employees, because we went from being a very small company, LLC, to being able to merge with Eckerd, who was this huge national nonprofit that had so many different opportunities through the child welfare. And I do believe we were the first ones to merge with Eckerd that had the workforce arm. So we actually were the workforce division for Eckerd, first time ever. And I can tell you it was a very smooth transition. We transitioned right over. And I can tell you all of our customers were happy about the transition from going from a for-profit to a nonprofit. And so it worked very well. And it also helps us, I know Courtney can attest to this, when we go out into the community and we ask for donations, people are more apt and more, willing to donate to a nonprofit versus a for-profit company. So it's had a lot of advantages. And so we are super excited to now be a part of Eckerd and all that it has to offer.
That's great. Yeah, it really is a unique model that Eckerd has. And yes, you were the first, but it's really amazing at our growth, to initially being involved primarily just in the child welfare space, in the organization, the Eckerd family, our Eckerd board of directors, our executive leadership team, when they saw that, and David Dennis, our CEO, often refers to it as moving upstream. When we found out that we could help the poor best by creating job opportunities for them, and finding an organization like Paxson that was a great fit, where we could help employees, help the unemployed get employed, where we could help employers be great community partners. It was just such a great fit, and it has been. You're right. You're the first. But we've acquired many other organizations. Recently, last year, for example, we acquired an agency called Odal that runs Job Corps in the States. So in addition to workforce, we also have Job Corps campuses around the country. So it's just exciting seeing this come together, seeing it really, really, really turn into a very transformational organization that is helping so many people get back to work, break the cycle of poverty, and change literally the trajectory of their life forever. So Carley, thank you so much. Well, we have really been flying at about 40,000 feet. I want to take us down into some pretty neat trees right now. And would you take just a minute? And we're going to find out about your out-of-school youth program. And so if you could take just a minute, Carley, and introduce Courtney, I would so appreciate it.
Most definitely. I'm super excited to introduce Courtney Rouse. Courtney is one of my many rock stars that I have in the state of Georgia. Courtney joined us with Eckerd Connect after we merged in July of 2016. Shortly after joining the Eckerd team, Courtney was selected as one of the top 5 finalists for the Employee Recognition Program. She studied business management at Dalton State College, where she was inducted into the National Honor Society, and her graduate degree is in special education from Valdosta State University. In addition, Courtney has been able to run a very successful program in our Northwest Georgia program. She has always met or exceeded all of her performance standards. She goes above and beyond. She's a pleasure to work with. She motivates, she drives those participants every single day. And a lot of them just come back because they want to share with her all of the success that they've been able to accomplish, everything that they've been able to accomplish since going through her program. Courtney is definitely a motivator. She loves her job. She loves what it is she does on a day-to-day basis, and it just shows. So I'm super excited that Courtney is on this call. I can't say enough great things about Courtney. When you think of that employee that just always gives more than 110% every single day, that's Courtney. And so we're very thankful to have her as a part of our team. We're very thankful to have her operate our Northwest Georgia program, and also for all the lives that she's had the opportunity to impact. And I can tell you there is a huge number in our Northwest Georgia program that she's been able to successfully transition into that next step. And I will say this, that majority of her participants that she serves, they are low income and they are high school dropouts. So they have dropped out of school, they feel hopeless, they feel like they failed, and she's able to build them back up, train them, give them the skills, give them that love and compassion to make sure that they're able to accomplish those next steps in life. So without further ado, I'm going to turn it back over to you, Roy, so that you and Courtney can take the show away.
Thanks, Carly. We appreciate you so much. Carley Huguley, thank you so much for being part of the Eckerd team. We so appreciate you. And Courtney, oh my goodness. People are posting in the chat room. Way to go, Courtney. I love your background. Courtney is a hope giver. And Courtney, take a couple minutes, talk about your program. Give us kind of an overview. I'd really like to find out more just the number of folks that you're helping, and let's kind of begin there.
Okay, absolutely. Thank you for the introduction, Carly. Wow, you got me tearing up over here. I really, it's just, I don't know any other way to do it, honestly. But our out-of-school youth program is part of the acronym WIOA, which is WIOA, and that stands for Workforce Innovation and Opportunity Act. Specifically to the out-of-school youth, because that's what I am contracted for here in Northwest Georgia. We are identifying youth and young adults ages 16 to 24 with a barrier to education or employment. And like Ms. Carley said, the majority of my participants are high school dropouts, and they do meet the low income status as well. Many of them are also what we call basic skills deficient. So we are looking during the intake process, we are assessing their basic skills in math and reading and language, and just determining where their starting point would be once they enroll into our program or get fully enrolled into the program. So
let me throw a curveball at you real quick.
Okay, sure.
And I know I lied. I told you I was only going to throw you softballs, but I'm watching the Little League World Series, and so I gotta sneak a curveball in there every once in a while. But talk to me about COVID. How did you do intake? How did you assess student needs during the last year? It's just crazy.
Well, I'm going to tell you, I always say this, and anyone can attest to this that works with me, that I take challenges as an opportunity to grow professionally. And so if anything positive came from this pandemic, per se, as it relates to our program, it was learning to think outside that box and address just a difference in delivery of our intakes, delivery of our curriculum and our training. And so obviously we're at a point now with COVID where a lot of these things are done virtually. So we developed as a team here in Northwest Georgia a way to address or do our intakes virtually, or mostly virtually. Some of the things still have to be done in person, but we took those extra steps, made sure we reviewed all the recommendations and advice that came from the CDC website, which is the Center for Disease Control, and we just made plans and developed plans to address that and to ensure that our participants are safe, that the staff is safe, that we're doing multiple cleanings throughout our building. We have posters posted everywhere. We have mandatory face masks. Right now, here's mine. and just addressing those things. We also developed, with the use of some grant money for COVID, we were able to acquire access to an online portal to deliver our training. So we have that option, and then we took some steps to research other options, free options, if you will, that were out there that would also deliver our services to our participants virtually. And again, there are some things that just have to be done in person. We couldn't help that, but we made sure that we took the steps that we had to ensure that everyone was safe. And so that's what we did.
So moving them to online now, did young people in the program have the technology to be able to kind of join you online for GED training or assessments of any special needs that they have? How hard was that?
Well, that's been difficult. We have seen some decreases. Obviously in enrollment, there was a decrease in enrollment. Our youth are scared. And you know, the staff were too. So we saw about a 30% decrease in our GED completions, due mainly because of the technology and our lack of technology that they had. So many of our participants are in rural areas where in are low income, and so they can't afford the Wi-Fi accessibility to get onto these lessons that we're delivering and to watch them live. And live is actually the best option, but we do record our lessons so that for our participants that maybe work at night or have kids that are doing online learning with their school, that they can then go back and still watch these videos and participate that way. But live is the best option in my opinion, because then if there is a question about something, they can ask right then. So, but because of that decrease, because of the rural areas, we definitely are trying to figure out a way to get technology in the hands of our participants. And that could be in the form of, and well, if I had my wishes, every participant would have a Chromebook of some sort, you know, so they're not using necessarily their smartphone to watch a lesson. Because I mean, here's my smartphone. I mean, you can see how
Right.
small the screen is. That's not fun to do. And then Wi-Fi, the prepaid Wi-Fi cards. So those are about $30.
So those are a couple things that aren't covered with your current funding contracts now.
Correct.
That if your students had access to technology, if they had access to a Wi-Fi card, a $30 Wi-Fi card, they could participate and you'd improve your graduation rate. Now, Steve did pretty good. The employment rate, I know, I was shocked just reading some of the numbers beforehand, was pretty high, right?
Yes, our employment rate, which the way that this funding works, it is a federal grant. And so a lot of our performance measures that we're held to and that we are contracted for are captured after a participant exits your program. Okay. And that's how it's tracked. And so for the second quarter after exit, so this is a participant that has went through the program, we've exited them from the program, we've got them into employment or post-secondary, or transition them into the military even. We have several participants that go into the military. And that rate was at 76.09% when we tracked it for year to date for that performance measure. For fourth quarter after exit, this is one full year after they've been exited from the program, we were at 77.59%. Now,
Wow.
we did meet our performance requirements as far as that go, and what was negotiated by our workforce board for this area. But I felt like that, especially that second quarter, because that was going to be the one that's the most impacted by COVID, that we would have done a lot better, because in the past we were at 80 to 90% employment rate at second quarter after exit. So we definitely felt the hit. Fortunately, we were still within our contracted measure, but I know that we would have done even better. And so when you look past the numbers, you got to remember that's a person on the other side of that percentage. And that's a person without employment. That's a person that's low income status is even greater now, because, you know, we promised them that we would help them into a career. We would, you know, that they would become self-sufficient. And I like to live up to my promises, Roy. And unfortunately, that the impact of COVID really hit us in that arena.
Wow. So again, now I'm a fundraiser. So I'm going to help you out here.
Okay.
If you're on the call with us today and you know a company or an individual or a business owner, an entrepreneur that could step up and help with providing a Chromebook, could help with providing Wi-Fi cards, how many young people or how many people were enrolled in the program last year? I forget the number.
We were slotted for 100 and we enrolled 70 during the
70.
pandemic. I'm very proud of my team for that. So let me just say that, because I know that was a really high number considering, but normally we meet our slotted numbers.
Yes. Now, of that 100 slotted numbers, how many do you think needed technology or better working technology?
Um,
You think it was half, or you think it was a
At
third?
I would say at least half. That would be my best guess, at least half. But that's
We're looking for a way in the private sector with entrepreneurs, with donors, supporters, people in philanthropy that could help you with at least 35 computers and a Wi-Fi card to join. So again, if you're out there and you could help Courtney and our clients with some needs like this, it would mean so much to us. So please, 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 let us know. Let us know if you can help us. Let us know if you can introduce us to someone. It really will mean a lot. Courtney, I want to kind of go back to the program itself. Walk me through. Now, I understand the GED training, and I understand there's actual tests that people have to pass to get that GED. But in addition to GED training, what other types of skills and training and teaching do you provide?
Well, with WIOA, part of the 14 elements of services, those are your required services. So whether you provide it in-house or it's a referral service that you referral out. So in addition to the education piece, you also have the career development piece, and those should coincide with each other. And so it is our goal to expose our youth to those soft skills so that they can be successful on the job, to also do the work experience, the paid work experience Ms. Carley was talking about earlier, not the on the job training, because this is geared more towards youth. We partner with our businesses in the community, and they are able to then follow a training plan based on the participants' desires. So what they're interested in and what they want to learn in a career, or just that career exploration itself. So maybe they want to go into nursing, but they're not sure if they'll love it. And so they get a chance to get into an environment where they're exposed to the nursing field to see if that is something that they will love before they pursue it and spend 4 years in school to go after that thing.
Sure.
Meanwhile, we're paying wages. The WIOA grant will pay their wages while they're there. In Northwest Georgia, our participants are able to complete 500 hours. So roughly a little over 12 weeks of work experience. The other goal to that is that they will gain transferable skills. So, so let's just say, for instance, someone goes into the retail, and I'm going to say retail because in Georgia, they're 23% of the jobs in Georgia right now are in retail. Okay. So let's just say that they're in retail and they're learning customer service skills that they can then take, and that will transfer over to a job, say in, on the order desk for Shaw Industries. Any of you guys are familiar with Shaw Industries? We are in North Georgia. We're the carpet capital of the world, if you will. So a lot of people in this area know Shaw and Mohawk, and those are the major carpet industries here. So that's another thing that we offer while planning. We're doing resume development and then preparing our youth to interview for that job. What to expect and how to be that top candidate, and just give them a competitive advantage above the other applicants that might be there. And honestly, because we've built these partnerships with our businesses, there's a lot of times I can pick up the phone and tell an employer, hey, I've got a participant. Let me tell you about them. Let me let you know how hard they worked in our program and the skills they developed while they were with us. And by the way, you're hiring for a certain position they're completely interested in. I'm going to send them your way. And they welcome that. And
Wow.
I'd say probably 9 times out of 10, they get that job. And then we get to hear about how well they do, going forward from that.
Wow. So it's not just the the classroom to get through high school, to get that GED, but it's the soft skills, how you interview, how you dress, how you look, how you talk, how to establish eye contact, how to smile when you're going through that interview, when you're nervous as all get out, and you role play and you script them and you get them ready, and then you push that little bird out of the nest to an actual employer. So talk to me about the length of the program, that training piece before you actually send them to an employer. How long will a student be engaged on average?
Well, we like for it to be within the same program year that we exit. Now, our program year goes from July 1st through June 30. So we just started a new program year. But I can say this, as long as a participant is engaging with me and they're making success towards their goals that are outlined based on their individual service plan, then I'm okay with them staying with my program a little longer if they need to, because I want them to be successful. And if we exit them too early and they're engaging and they're making progress on these goals, then chances are they're not going to be as successful or be successful at all if we exit them too soon. So it really is dependent on the participant. We do have a continuous enrollment here in Northwest Georgia, so I feel like with our young adults and youth that you need to strike it when the iron's hot. So if they're coming to you and they're asking for your support, and I really like to steer away from the word of help, because I'm supporting them in their desire. This is their life, this is their career path, and I'm just putting the pieces in place for them to access. And so, it's really just dependent on them. So I want to enroll them as quick as possible. I personally do the second review of all the files here in Northwest Georgia, and I do them quickly. Those are my top priority every single time, because once the participants went through the time to turn in all of these required documents to be enrolled, again, federal program, so there's a lot of items that have to be submitted, and they've taken their 4-hour basic skills test, then I don't want them to wait. If they're ready to start, I want them to start. So it's a continuous enrollment program here in Northwest Georgia, and just making sure that we provide all those supports and again, letting them decide what it is that they're wanting to do, because that's when they're going to be successful, when it's something they want to do.
Courtney, it's just so obvious that you have a real passion for this.
Oh, yeah.
I want to hear the Courtney story. How did you get where you're at now? Talk to me about that.
So everything that Miss Carley told you was true about me. I was inducted in the.
You showed the shiny part. I want to see the unshiny part too. Tell me what you've gone through to get where you're at.
Ooh, a lot. So I was that low income person. I was that GED graduate. I was that single mom. So it's very easy for me to relate to the participants that come through this program, because I was there. And did I take the harder path? I tell my students all the time, dropping out of school was not the easiest path. It wasn't. But that's what life threw at me, and that's how I responded to some things. I was that bratty person in school. I was the brat that didn't want to listen. So it took some I guess some hard kicks to make me realize real quickly, and I did. Trust me, when I was on my own and I had kids to feed and bills to pay, I was like, wow, there's not a whole lot you can do without your diploma. So I made that my first goal, obviously. And then from there, I was introduced to the Hope Scholarship here in Georgia. We have the lottery system. And so there's funding available for school there. I was not aware of WIOA or WIOA, and it has many names, this legislation, so I was not aware of that. But fortunate for me, I did have family support. Many of our participants did not have that. So that's what we become for them, is that family support, that cheerleader, and then just giving them information, putting the information in their hands so they can make better decisions for their life. And one of the things that we do, Roy, is we do a vision board in the very beginning, or now it's a digital vision board, but it used to be something that we did on poster board, and they would cut out pictures and things like that. But now it's visual. They do a visual one. And I just remind them all the time, you remember that vision you had? You told me you wanted to own your own home, or you told me that you wanted to get out of debt, or you told me that you wanted a nice ride, you know, and or your own transportation where you weren't dependent on your parents anymore. And so remember that when you're making these decisions. Remember that when you're staying up late to do homework, because I did. My kids went to bed, that's when I did my classwork. So I know if I can do it, anybody can do it. You just got to have the desire and the drive to do it. And that's what I instill in all of our participants that come through here. And the reason I can do that so easily is because I was there. And a lot of them don't believe me, like, no, Miss Courtney, you're the program manager. Yeah, or they call me the principal. but I wasn't always there. And you've got to invest in yourself. And that's what, you know, we're encouraging them and teaching them to do here in
Your passion just shines through so much. Take a minute and share a couple success stories. I know you have hundreds over the years, but talk about a couple young people, a couple graduates of the program that are just top of mind for you.
So we have a lot of graduates and success stories, and I call them my pocket success stories, because I when I go out into the community and I talk to people about our program, I want them to know and to see and to be able to visualize that this program works. And it's not just a matter of spending grant money. This is a matter of, you know, really helping, or not helping. Again, I like to stay away from that, but just providing the tools that these participants need to be successful and stuff. So the first one that comes to mind, and just mainly because it reminds me so much of myself, is Jamie. So Jamie, when she came to our program, she was one of the first participants. That we just started this program in Northwest Georgia in July of 2016 when I was hired. So when I was hired, it was just an office space, barely any furniture. So it's like, you know, developing all of these partnerships and stuff. And anyway, she was one of our first participants. So she gave us a try, and she had faith in us. When she first came to us, she was on a 3rd grade level in math. Her reading skills were great. They were at about, I think, a 10th grade level in reading. And, but in math, she was in a 3rd grade level. Now, based on our best practices, we realized that our participants are more successful with her at least at a 7th grade level in math or higher. So I told Jamie, don't fret. It's okay. And she was also low income and had 2 kids and a single mom. So I said, don't fret. It's okay. We're going to help you. We're going to get you to where you need to be. So she would come in after work, and she would tutor. And at that time, she was working for just barely over minimum wage. All right. So fast forward 8 months into the program, because she did end up raising that basic skill score. So 8 months into the program, she earned her GED diploma. And so that's great. We had a graduation that year, and so she walked and took some pretty phenomenal pictures. And then she entered the workforce, and she was making probably about $15 an hour at that point, which is, you know, still a struggle for someone with 2 children that is a single parent. So from there, she started coming in and talking, and she reaches out quite often. But she was actually selected, and well, let me just say, she ended up transitioning into post-secondary, and it was mainly because of a workshop that we had with a college. and she came in to learn about it because it was also a WIOA funded program. So she could enter it and receive money for tuition and books. So she did that, and it's in medical billing. And actually, as she was in that school, she was struggling to pay for her computer because they did offer her a payment plan for the computer, but it was a struggle for her because she still had bills and things like that. So not long after she started the program, we were looking at her for the Success Award, which she did receive, and we were able to pay for that computer for her and take that burden off of her, which was great.
Awesome.
And
So let me interrupt because a couple of you, we've got a lot of donors on the phone today. Many of you may have never heard this term, Success Award. What we do at Eckerd, and obviously Jamie was one of our top performers. She excelled, she worked hard, she overcame a lot of obstacles. And so we have underwriters, sponsors that will actually pay for what we call a Success Award scholarship. In some cases, it's used for tuition. In other cases, it's used to do things like what Courtney just said, purchase a laptop, purchase school clothes or an outfit for work, or transitional housing, or car repairs. So we use these awards for lots of different things that the student may need. But Jamie was one of those Success Award nominees, and I don't know if her sponsor is on the phone today, on the call today, but thank you if you are. You know who you are, and we appreciate you very much. And it is neat to hear about Jamie. Now you're almost at the end of her story, but I wanted to take a minute and explain to folks what Success Awards do and how they could underwrite some of these scholarships. But pick up where Jamie's at.
Okay. So where Jamie's at now today, about 2 months ago, I got a phone call from her. She was super excited, and she said, "Miss Courtney, you're not going to believe this." And I said, "What?" She says, "I'm buying my first house."
I love it.
And so she did. I'm sorry. I'm so proud of her. And she's bought her first house. She's finished school now, and she's transitioning to do an internship. And we were actually able to help her with that by connecting her again to one of our partners who we've built a good relationship with, that is willing to let her come do her medical billing internship with them. That is the last piece that she has to finish for school, and she'll be completely done. And she's so excited because she said, "I'm finally going to be able to work a 9-to-5 job, be at home with my kids at night." And because right now she's working third, although she is making a sustainable wage, her next goal was to work that 9-to-5 job, or 8:30 to 5 job, when it may be, so she can be at home with her children. So that is, like I said, if you're looking for something that's first circle, and you're talking about something that started about 2017-ish and here we are 2021. And it's like I told her, it wasn't going to be the easiest path. She did pick a harder path than just graduating high school and transitioning, but it is a doable pathway, and she did do that. So I couldn't be more over the moon.
You talk about the generational impact. I mean, not only Jamie picked up a few skills, she moved into a career path that helped her break the cycle of poverty, helped her family, home ownership. Wow, that's what this is all about, Courtney.
Absolutely.
I just can't tell you how excited we are about this program, about you specifically. You are the kind of people that Eckerd needs in leadership. Thank you for hanging with us. Thank you for being part of this organization for as long as you have. And again, thank you for the investment you are making into the lives of so many young people. I know we've just shown the shiny parts of this. I know you have some tough days. I know these kids aren't easy. I know they challenge you sometimes, but I mean, people are posting in the chat room and different things. Just thank you, Courtney. You have no idea how much you mean to us. This is so inspiring today. We so appreciate what you're doing.
It's and well, thank you, Roy, and thank you, Eckerd, and to the donors that are on the call. Thank you for what you do. That definitely, by providing Jamie that success award and the opportunity to receive that funding for her laptop, it took a lot of strain off of her, and let her focus on the things that she needed to focus on. And that was her education, her children, her job, and then transitioning to the next step. So we couldn't be more proud of Jamie here. She's definitely one of my poster childs, as I say. But it's just it's a matter of, and it's a team thing, because I have a wonderful team here in Northwest Georgia, and then in Georgia period. I have great leadership, and it's really easy to do because of that. So
it's awesome. Well, we are so honored, and again, those of you that are on the call, we're going to open it up for any questions that you might have. But if you could help us with these technology needs right now, very demanding. You know, the challenge is in many states, COVID hasn't gone away. It's gotten worse, and so again, we're not in a situation where the kids can come in and use Courtney's computer. They need one of their own to be able to get this coursework done. And so if you could help us with a donation, anything like that, we would be so appreciative. And then, of course, these Success Award scholarships. We have young people from the Georgia program. We have nominees right now that have scholarship requests in. Their case managers have nominated them, and we're trying to get these scholarships funded. So maybe you could sponsor one of these scholarships. There's lots of ways that you can get involved. Please stay involved. And again, if you'd like to meet with Courtney, to meet with Carley, to meet with to see this work in action, maybe you could even meet Jamie and hear her story. But we just want to be transparent with everybody, and we want you to get involved in this program. So again, thank you for joining us today. I do want to open it up before we close. Does anybody have any questions for Courtney or Carley today that's part of our broadcast that's online today? Anybody at all? I always feel like a dentist at this part of the program pulling teeth, but did somebody have a question?
Mr. Jones?
Yes.
Hey, Miss Courtney. My name is Ron Nelson. I'm Chief Financial Officer of my goodness, I'm sorry, I'm overwhelmed. Your testimony was powerful. It was powerful. Thank God for Jesus. It was powerful. Thank you for sharing that. My question is, what was your main internal driver to be not successful? It's not about success. What was your main internal driver in your heart to keep pressing towards the mark of your goal and your calling? It could probably be as well.
Good question.
oh wow, Ron, that is so easy. My kids were my drive. When I looked at them every day, I just wanted to be able to give them everything they needed and some of what they wanted, you know. And I really might sound a little feminist, but I wanted to be able to do it on my own without any help from anyone else. I mean, unless, you know, of course their father was involved, that's great, but I didn't want to be dependent on that. In addition to that, a lot of times I would do assignments and things for when I was in post-secondary with them while they did their homework. So I felt like I was also teaching them the importance of school and the importance of completing those assignments and turning them in on time and things. But that was my biggest drive. I've always been a hard worker. A lot of times my dad would select me to do a lot of the yard work instead of my brothers because he said, well, I know you'll do it right the first time. Well, yeah, maybe so, but so that I guess I was just born with. But as far as you know, realizing the mistakes I made in my life is in the harder points, my drive was my kids and just being able to do for them.
I have one more follow-up question. I'll be done. I would say as a 27-year-old, I turned 28 September 15th. I was born in 93. I'm a 90s baby. I would say the reason why I appreciate your testimony, especially growing from a hardship community, just like I have in Tampa Bay, I struggled and still do to this day. It's a testimony, not tea. I struggle with asking for help. And because you kind of have to pull yourself up by your own bootstraps, I'm just a tenacious young man from Tampa Bay, you know? Um, could you share with me how did you overcome that internal struggle and actually open up your mouth and actually ask for help? Because I know it's an inner demon for us all. It is. Um, how would you say that you suffocated that id and ego in your head, if you want to quote forward, and articulate yourself to ask for help, not in a desperado type of way, but in a meekness, humility, not being marked by pride type of sense? How did you overcome that internal demon, man?
Okay, for me specifically,
Yes, ma'am.
uh, whew, I don't know if I've ever really overcome it. I tend to be one that can say no a whole lot, and just take on, like I had mentioned before, I look at a challenge as an opportunity to grow professionally. And
Okay.
so I've always, well, probably not always done that, but I guess I learned pretty quickly that that some things we're just kind of responsible for ourselves, you know. But
Okay.
but if I do ask for help, because I have I've had to get help. I was actually on SNAP benefits at some point, you know, and so I went through the process of the application, and it is a pride thing. Like that's hard to even say on this call with some of my coworkers that are on here, but it's the reality of what I came from. Um, I'd say that the biggest thing is you just got to remember that if you are asking for the help and you're using it in a way to better yourself,
Mm-hmm.
then it's not, you don't have to really be ashamed of that. You know, we can't always help our situations, but even if we can, if we're doing something to better ourselves, then we're coming out on the other side of it a better person, and then can share that. And that's what my goal is to do here, is to be able to share that testimony, to share those struggles, and with our participants, and then assist them in how to access the various resources. But with the main goal in mind is to overcome those barriers and to overcome those challenges that we've put in our path. A lot of times on our own.
It takes real courage. It takes real courage to ask for help, and
It's great. It's really.
and teaching that, and as Courtney and Ron have done, modeling that for our clients is really important. And other questions from folks on the team? Well, again, Courtney, I just want to thank you so much, and your work, your testimony, your passion for helping our clients means so much to us. And again, if somebody wanted to reach you, Courtney, what's the best email address to do that?
All right, the best email address, and I'll put this in the chat too, is crouse@eckerd.org.
crouse@eckerd.org.
Yeah, and that's Rouse like with an R.
Fantastic.
My educator, right?
Fantastic. Very good. Well, again, thank you for joining us. Carley, if you're still on the line with us, again, thank you for joining us. We are so honored and just so thankful to have you on the broadcast, and looking forward to having you back for many more. I can't wait to interview Jamie in this broadcast. So let's get her back here and make her a media star. All right.
Oh, absolutely. She will certainly do that. She knows she's ready and willing, and she refers people to our program, matter of fact, all the time. So
I love it. Well, we will do that. I want to encourage folks. Now, many of our programs have special activities around the holidays. They identify a lot of times special needs in their program. Clients that might have a special need, they can't afford a Thanksgiving meal. They can't afford a Christmas gift for the kids. And so a lot of our programs do things during the holiday times. If you're with us today and your program has a project going on, please send me an email and let me know, because we want to plug that into what we're doing nationally. And we're going to create a national holiday campaign, this fall, specifically focusing between Thanksgiving and Christmas. So please let us know what you're doing so we can plug it into the overall plan and promote it nationally. So we want you to be part of that. Please let us know what's going on. And again, if you're one of our supporters that have joined us on this call today, thank you so much for being part of our family. We so appreciate you. Thank you for your support. And again, great broadcast, Carley, Courtney. We learned a lot and we saw a lot about your passion. And you truly reflect what Eckerd Connects is. And we so appreciate you. Thanks, everybody. We'll talk to you next month. Thanks.
thank you.
Thank you,
Great
Courtney.
job,
Bye,
Courtney.
Roy. Bye, Roy.
Great job, everybody.